There's no question that July is a slow month for gaming. Not much comes out in the summer months that a reviewer can really sink their teeth into. Thanks to that, I was pretty excited to get my hands on Abyss Odyssey. It has a lot of things to be excited about right off the bat. Beautiful models and backdrops, changing level designs promising unique gameplay every time, flowing combat, and a rich single-player campaign that also allows for another player to join in on the fun. There's even a 4-player versus mode you can try out if single-player just isn't doing it for you. But come on, what side do you think you're on right now? Time to see what Ace and Atlus can do together. Abyss Odyssey marks the 4th game installment by Ace Games, who are situated in Santiago, Chile. The game itself also takes place in the setting, albeit with the actions happening layer upon layer beneath the Earth's crust. The side-scrolling action-adventure is still fresh off the market right now, boasting a release on Xbox 360, PS3, and PC. The story goes that you are a dreamed reimagining of a late figure on a hell-bent mission to descend through the abyss of Santiago to find a slumbering warlock and, hopefully, put an end to the dark, twisted nightmare he's created up above. Although you can only play as Catrien, a fencer with hair straight out of the 80s at first, unlockable characters like a ghost monk and La Pincoya promise that alternative modes of fighting style and largely different playing experiences on the 2nd or 3rd playthrough will also be possible. On the way down the mythology hole, you'll encounter twisted creatures that seem to have sprung to life from the pages of an ancient bestiary. Whether it's a minotaur, a faun, a rotting demon cow, a ghost soldier, whatever. Everything with a pulse is after your silk drape behind. Sometimes you'll even encounter a Lovecraftian boss during the descent who will not hesitate to come after you full force. You can capture them to use as your own personal bodyguards if you want, although most enemies fight in pretty much the same way. Alternating level difficulties, shifting playing fields, and fluctuating infrequent weapons can make this game a breeze or a nightmare. Some levels will have you on your hands and knees minutes in, while some will leave you feeling like you could have taken another wave or two before taking the lift down another level. Luckily, the button layout is customizable, so beyond the standard jump, run, guard, attack format, your battle style can be tailored to your needs, and you can decide whether you want to hack and slash or just do some sick pirouettes until your enemies just faint from jealousy over your rad moves. You can buy weapons to fight with down below, or take what you can find during the descent to fight. Because of the shifting levels, the game can promise a really organic experience, but, if you were to move around all the furniture in your house every time you left, it'd still be your house. Damn it, sometimes you just want to get out of the house. In fact, eventually you might resent your house for not having a stable setup. Like, can't you even go to the store without moving your TV behind a dresser? How are you going to sit on the couch if it's bolted to the ceiling? Suffice it to say, even with changing level designs, the game can easily become a bit samey. But in order for the game to reset its path and move all your furniture around, you have to die first, right? If your Breakfast Club hero gets killed during the brawl into hell, you have the chance to play as one of your fanboy soldiers for a while and try to reach a resurrection spot to bring the party back and not suffer the penalty of starting over. To be honest, there were a couple of times when I would just jump into the body of my devout little soldier buddy and instantly start ripping through the monsters that had just pounded my previous character into dust. I found myself thinking, why was I even playing as them? This guy should have been the real hero. Look at that mustache! If you can't make it to the resurrection spot, or you were like me and just said fuck it and muscled on ahead as Mustache Chan, you'll be brought back to the top floor after death. There you can have some nice detailed art chats with the gun merchant or your biggest fan, both of whom just stand around near the incredibly dangerous hole opening into the world. Sometimes your MC will say something slightly interesting, oftentimes not. Regardless, get back in the hole and keep on heading down. After all, this is your life now. In the end, I can say with a fair amount of confidence that Abyss Odyssey, while being interesting, didn't knock my socks off. The combat is fluid and refreshing, but samey. The enemies are beautiful, but somewhat stale. And the purposefully vague storyline and direction were good for interpretation, but bad at making the player feel as though we should care that much about what's happening. The game adopts a feeling of slight malaise, but not enough to motivate us to keep fighting once initial interest has been satisfied. I didn't find myself being drawn into the world Ace had so painstakingly created for me. More like I was on a train that had to 86 my stop. I ended up going somewhere different, but really not that different. Not that I didn't enjoy the ride, of course. It's always fun to see new things, take a new trip. But sometimes you just don't have the time to get off the train and start mercilessly butchering everything around you. Then you have to deal with the public transit PD, and who has time for that? I hope this isn't what the Chilean railroad is like. Is Puerto Montt just full of wizards? I'm not really one for scoring games, but I'd say that for me, Abyss Odyssey lands at a 6, at least 7 at most. Everyone will see the game differently though, and if you look at a 6 from another perspective, it becomes a 9, right? So check it out if you can. You might just fall in love, or you might fall into hell and have to fight cosplay shadow queens and bloody skeletons. Alright, I warned you.